The Jim and Terry Show, talking about things Hollywood, things union, things on the left, things that concern us in terms of, well, you just went to see a show. You went to a theater.
I went to a theater, all was well, but...
What did you see?
But now we're entertainment, aren't we, right now? And maybe we're crossing the line, aren't we?
I'm joining the line, Jim. I've got my placard here. WGA and the SAG. I would walk the line with Ron Perlman.
Worm Pickers Association of America. You'd be out there.
I am out there.
You know, those...
As a unionist,
fish,
a lefty. Yes, I'm a commie. Yeah.
I saw Mission Impossible.
Okay, so they're all governed by the regulations of the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of America.
Well, I'm assuming that they have that one of the agreements is that you can go to theaters still and see what has already been produced.
Yes.
Because I know this doesn't affect Broadway either.
No.
Kind of hard to use AI in Broadway,
right.
That kind of thing. But yeah, the movie was great, and it's the first part of it was almost 3 hours long. And it's the first part. There's a sequel coming. That's just it says right there.
Tom Cruise is how old?
Part. He's 61. Does all his own stunts.
Unbelievable.
The guy's just ridiculous. Well, I mean, when you sell your soul. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought I was going to see Indiana Jones, which has a lot of AI work in it.
Yes.
And I have no problem with that because to tell a story of him going back, I guess I don't know. Maybe the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild would have a problem with that because at one time you would pick a young actor that looked like you
yes.
to go back in those scenes.
And play you.
So now if you can but somebody has to act. So I don't know. I guess it can go all over the place. I'm a little saddened by it simply because I'm amazed at what AI can do. So to limit it, it's like not wanting SpaceX to launch off the pad type of thing for me.
Build it, but don't launch it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lawsuit against SpaceX to try, and should that be approved, it'll shut them down for a year. And that's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. So it's not going to happen, I don't think. But it's just
United Launch Alliance, or who is NASA. I think theirs is still way over budget. So SpaceX can be sitting on the shelf for years at millions of dollars a year and still come under the budget of NASA.
This is why I think the powers that be will. And you realize we're going right down a rabbit hole here, so we're going to go back. But this is why I don't think that any of the lawsuits are going to stick because America needs SpaceX. That's part of their moon project. And everybody's racing to go to the moon, so there's something
Makes you
there.
wonder.
Yeah,
Makes you
there's
wonder.
Something there, man.
If I get there and I take out my little Maxwell's little hammer and it goes ding and woo, and you said it's hollow and rang like a bell when they crashed the satellite.
India's going back. Israel's trying again. All over the world, everybody's trying to get to the moon. But there's nothing there, man. It's just dust.
I think the real estate market must be something else on the moon.
All right. So we started this show with actors.
We started with actors, and part of this was to say that there is a strike going on. Yes. And as a union person myself, being part of my union for my career, I respect and want to see a resolution that is in favor of the actors, especially. It's not the big name actors who get millions per role. It's the ma's and pa's of the extras who sit and wait all day with makeup or costume for a 30 second, if you're lucky, passing camera panorama.
I'm not as compassionate as you are when it comes to this, for the simple reason is, by the way, watching Mission Impossible cost me twice as much as it did the last time I went to a movie.
So your sympathy for this goes as deep as your pocketbook.
Well, part of it, because everybody getting what they want. Here's how I view it. Number one, I hope they resolve it. I hope people get a good living. That's not my point. My point is, let me put it this way. I'm a musician. I write songs. I work at it. I do. How much do I make? Nothing. Imagine if all of a sudden I ask everybody to go on strike so that I can make what they make. Well, I shouldn't have gone into the profession if I was after the money. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. It's just the way it is. So that's partly how I feel about, you want to be a writer in Hollywood. Some of them make a lot of money. Some of them expand out. Some actors do too, and they start their own production companies, et cetera, et cetera. Not everybody's going to make it. And I know everybody needs to have a living, and I agree with that. But you may want to think twice before you decide that you want to go into that particular work area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're brilliant, you're creative. Maybe some company could use you and pay you $60,000, $70,000 a year for your brilliance. You make your choice.
Well, we talked about indie films at some point, and maybe indie films is like running a third party in an election, which I would like to spend a podcast on and talk about that. But maybe that's what needs to happen, is Hollywood needs to be deconstructed.
Or I like that idea. I like more than one big powerhouse. I mean, India has one big powerhouse too, I think in India, and they're gigantic, even bigger than Hollywood, apparently. But I love the idea, same as I wish in the States there was a third or fourth party that you could turn to when you're all messed up with both sides, you don't agree with either one of them, but you're stuck with having to go with one. I like the idea of, okay, you don't like what they're doing in Hollywood, then maybe in Nashville, maybe their movie industry is a little bit nicer and better, and you could support the movies there.
Go for the company that has the best working conditions.
Yeah, and that would create that, because now you're fighting for the top talent. So
now,
you say to that top writer, your sons do a lot of work for the movie industry,
right,
and it's hard work.
Yep,
very hard work. You know, a lot of hours. It isn't easy, and it isn't glamorous.
No, but they've always complained that it's, a top-down driven pyramid where you got a whole 1,000 monkeys at typewriters on the bottom end who are given bananas, and one executive at the top who takes the all the credit and takes the money.
Nobody's got a gun to your son's heads. Nobody has a gun to mine. You can leave and do something else. And I went through all of that with this whole, the director's couch type thing.
I don't like that line, and you've said that repeatedly. So I'm going to call you out on that call you out on that, because that sort of rationalizes the rich are rich and powerful, and you can vote with your feet and not participate in their hierarchy. And I'm saying, no, fix that hierarchy. They don't deserve what they're making. And the only way to make that happen is by a strike like the WGA and SAG.
I don't know about the strike and all the conditions about it. And, they're striking. So, that's what they've chosen to do.
Yes.
And, I don't have the same hate on for people who are super successful.
I'm not saying it's a hate on. It's a question of justice, which is why, as the Libra in this room, it bothers me. I hate social injustice. I loathe it.
Why they're giants. That's why they're employing hundreds of
and
thousands of people.
My point of view is, you're a giant.
And they might be
how
jerks.
Many people
did
you? That's right.
They might be the biggest jerks on
And that's
earth.
why we have laws to protect people from abusers, and we call those controls. We pass policy. That's why we have a legislator to make the laws to govern and regulate those industries so that they can't keep abusing people. And I keep telling you, I follow this Robert Reich. Look at this guy who's talked about minimum wage since 1980 something, $7.25 an hour in the U.S. I'm not saying Canada, because dare I say this, we're a socialist country. So, no, we're not, but we have better laws.
But those part-time jobs were never meant to feed a family. I had part-time jobs. It wasn't meant to feed my family.
No,
I had a full-time job and a part-time job.
I'm not talking about part-time. I'm talking about minimum wage.
Well, minimum wage a lot of times goes to that person working their way through high school, that kind of thing. You can't expect them to expect
minimum wage is not a
$25.
student minimum wage. It's an adult minimum wage. And that's the part that gets me, is that you're treating students like adults or adults like students. Yeah, you can get away with it when the kid's going through school, but you cannot get away with that when that's a family's income. So I think wages are way out of whack, and I've told you that it's like 1,300, 1,400% increase on CEO, COO, CFO salaries, the people at the top of those corporate structures, and the wages of the people who produce the product, who work in the factories, who weld, who put screws together.
Who were given
boxes.
a job by those rich bastards.
Not were given. They're given
the job
a wage
was provided
structure.
because those guys are successful.
Okay, you take that, and I challenge that idea because if it was left to the capitalist system and unregulated with no legislation to put an anchor and a weight on those people, they would be screwing people over far more than goes on now.
think
So
we
minimum
all-
wage is a government policy that did not exist before abuse of employees. All the working conditions, health and safety, all the things we take for granted are all because unions exist, and more power to the Screen
And
Actors
it's
Guild
funny
and
how
the
all these
Writers
people are
Guild
being
Association.
abused by getting jobs, and everything.
You look on it as this is okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
You're getting mad.
No,
You're
well,
getting mad. You're gonna fume.
Oh, this is good. This is us and them. It's like saying, and this is going to Florida and a new curriculum. Here's the words. It's now being taught that slaves were given skills by working on the plantations.
We're not going to go there.
Yeah, we just
Nobody's
did.
a
We
slave. You're
just-
all free men.
we
Hey,
just did
you at McDonald's. Listen to me. You at McDonald's. Throw down your apron.
That's right.
Leave the building.
Ignore
You
those
don't
chains.
Need to stay.
Ignore those manacles.
Walk across
Ignore
the
those
road.
shackles.
There's a subway right
You're
there.
here by choice. You willingly signed up for this. No, they didn't. Yeah, okay. So, yeah.
I'm sort of in between, like really. I mean, I'm not I have no aspirations to be a rich, powerful person.
Oh, I think get it in
don't-
your dreams, maybe.
No, I don't think so. Not
You'd
even
like
at
to
all.
sell a song.
Well, number one,
You'd like
somebody-
85 verses of
somebody did
Hallelujah.
say that most CEOs are what? Psychopaths? No. What's it?
Sociopaths?
Sociopaths. Thank you. And I can believe that, where you don't really have feelings for everybody. Thus, and we never talked about this actor saying one of the leaders of a major studio said, "Let's just hold off until they all lose their homes."
That's right. Yeah.
But
So
that was another. For
but
another
that's part of the system. So does the system need fixing? Yes. Can it be corrected by voting with your feet? Either choose another profession or go on strike. More power to them. That's my opinion.
last word to Terry.